Good morning, people. It is 5:30. All we're going to do today is take you around for a full kind of just overlooking at the day, see how everything goes. Currently, for me, about week 5 of a little tidy up, where just getting the body fat down, just make my body nice and sensitive, responsive, and ready for. I've got a 24-week off season planned, so hopefully good little bit of progress before we go into the next little parts, which will just depend on how well these next two phases go, the tidy up and the off season. So today I'm gonna go do get some steps in before I come back, then go do my cardio, get both those out the way with. So that'll be about, I think the steps cover about 4,000. Cardio on the bike doesn't actually cover much. It's not going towards the step count, so it doesn't matter. But I would just prefer to get it done out of the way with before I can obviously sit down here all day and just crack on. It's a busy day. We've got calls at 9, 10 and 12 so far. And then everything else can get going off the back of it. Got a bit of education stuff which I'm going to run you through, what I'm doing to try and, give my clients the most, but also how I'm managing my stuff today and my thoughts on a couple of things. So it's a rest day, makes it nice and easy, plenty to talk about, so we're going to go get walking now. So the current setup, before we dive into everything, is 12,000 steps every day. Then we've got 5 lots of 30 minutes of cardio. And that's every so that's every day. That's 5 times a week. So I do that away from my leg days, because my leg days are starting to get pretty heavy. I've got 5 sessions a week. That's push on a Monday, pull on a Tuesday, legs on a Wednesday, rest, 30 minutes worth of cardio on a Thursday, Friday a bit more of like an upper focus, then Saturday lower focus, and then Sunday 30 minutes of cardio. I've been tending to do my cardio faster because my food's a little bit less on a rest day. I think it's about 1,700-ish, 1,800 calories on a rest day, and that's a bit of a challenge at times, so I'd prefer to just do my cardio and then just walk, maybe after I've eaten, or in about 2 or 3 blocks throughout the day, depending on work. If anything, it'll be 2 blocks. Right, cardio done. Now we're just gonna have, what am I having? I've just fucking made it. 200ml egg whites, 2 eggs and some ketchup, 100 grams of mixed veg. Really nice, short and sharp, no carbs in this meal, which is a bit, well, to be fair, actually it's not that bad. I don't know why I'm whinging saying it's bad. I'm only whinging because it's not as much as what I want. But at the end of the day, I'm full for the next couple of hours off this. So it's about 8:15. I will just have that, do some check-ins before I get onto my first call at 9. And then through today, honestly, today, a bit boring. I don't know why you're watching. Just gonna go over, obviously, everything that I'm doing at the moment, alongside, obviously, anything that, you might find useful. Or, just talk. There's been quite a lot of things that have happened recently, which I'm going to go over and kind of like my thoughts, a little bit of, almost like a little bit of context as to why I'm doing what I do. Because quite frankly, I could go do something else. I could. It'd potentially be easier to do something else. More money and less responsibility. Not saying that other jobs are all like that. It's just, owning your own business, it's just ridiculous. And it all lies on you. Like, every single aspect of it is on you. Every single part. So we're going to go over why I'm going to be, why I continue to do it, despite there being plenty of ups, but a lot of down moments, a lot of moments where I've come home and I have just burst into tears crying. Soft, no, I'm joking. But yeah, we're going to go over that. But I'm going to tuck into this because I'm absolutely starving. Money, you alright? Jesus! You're alright. You're alright. You're alright. She's coming back. She's coming back. Dude.
You ready?
How far do you reckon he's gone? Monty!
My God, you stress me, Tom.
Right. Right, that's the day. Kind of being boxed off now. It's about 7 o'clock. All I'm going to do is just start to clear things up. There's quite a few people obviously finishing work, so as I'm doing my little bits through the day, whatever sort of admin needs done, then obviously people will obviously start to finish because they ain't going to be texting me through work. But yeah, I think what I was going to talk about in this, just briefly in the in the title of the video was like why even. I wouldn't say bother because it's not a bother, but why would I even coach? And I've obviously elaborated on it on my Instagram, on Facebook, different reasons why I've done it, and I think for me it's certainly one of them ones where it would, like I said, you could potentially get another job or something that isn't as stressful or that I make as stressful, and it certainly is because it's mine, I care about it, and you want to be able to do your best and you want to be able to help people. And like the reason why I got into it is honestly just because I love it, right? I genuinely do. I love going and being able to fully control my efforts and those efforts dictate an outcome, right? It ain't dictated by anybody else, okay? And I'll say that for any circumstance that anybody else is in, right? Because people aim to be perfect all the time, and that's the problem, right? You ain't fucking gonna be perfect. I'm certainly not fucking perfect. I obviously try to be, and you obviously aim for that standard, but you're always gonna fall short because life crops up, okay? And you see all these sort of like tips of management on social media about how to make things easier or more manageable, but when people say it's finding what works for you, right, that is true. You might not have time to do a 2-hour-long gym session. I fucking don't, right? That doesn't mean you ain't getting in shape and you ain't getting ready for a holiday or you ain't going to drastically change your life around because you don't have 2 hours in your day to sit in the gym, right? That's sweet. That is literally not a bother. And when I started off, I left rugby when I was 20, just before my 21st birthday. And I was already doing it because I was loving it, training-wise, and I picked up with a part-time job after we went part-time from going full-time, which is a different story, which I'll get into another day. I might get into that next week, to be fair. And I realised how unhappy I was. When I stepped back from rugby, when I took myself away from that environment, I realised how much I'd been sheltering myself from myself. I realised how much I'd managed to almost ignore through constantly being busy, right? And busy doesn't mean you're fucking doing anything, right? You can be busy, but if you're doing fuck all and you're doing nothing of any value or any sort of importance to anything or to anybody, then yeah, you can be busy, but just because you sit on the laptop at 2 o'clock don't make you busy, right? You could have just been fucking on your phone. But I realised that I had nothing to push. I realised I had no way of escaping, right? Rugby was my escape. That anxiety build-up through the week was my escape because it was so overwhelming. I didn't have to think about the other anxieties that were affecting my head. I didn't have to think about them. So it just glossed over. Everything just kind of just washed over. And I didn't really worry about it. Then when I didn't have that, and when I was coming out the back end of rugby, I didn't drink till I was 18. Proper sad, isn't it? Then when I came out the back end of it, there was this void, and I don't know how to describe it. There was just this massive gaping hole where there was something that was missing. So when I didn't have that anxiety from a game, my brain started going almost to what has been hidden for the past however many years, maybe 4 or 5, that has just been gradually building up in the background. I fucking hated it. I hated it. I hated every single aspect. I hated all the insecurities, the issues, the feeling of helplessness, the feeling like I couldn't genuinely turn to anybody. I felt like I couldn't get help from anybody, and I didn't. And I just kept myself just quiet. And this ain't a sad or pity me, right? Fuck me. I've lived a fucking brilliant life compared to some people. Do you know what I mean? It's not like hasn't Nathan had it so hard? He fucking hasn't. But everybody has their own issues and everybody has their own struggles. And when that identity was removed, I had no identity. I was shy at school. I didn't do anything. I didn't speak my thoughts, and I didn't speak really my thoughts at rugby either. I kind of just tried to keep myself to myself out of fear of making somebody else upset, because it would probably lead to an argument. And that just led to me drinking. That just led to anything else that came with drink outside of that. And I began to push that, and I began to push that hard, as many days as I possibly could, as frequently as I possibly could, for any excuse. I didn't even have to have an excuse at all. It died because I've been using it all day and I hadn't charged it before, so can't really remember where I was at. I think it was, talking about, previous things that have led me up to this, and it's talking about like pushing drink and obviously everything that came with it. That was because there was a void that was there. Like with the whole identity thing, not having rugby to kind of like cover that up, so I decided to push it into something else. And that was the only thing I could think of, and that was a really quick release that I could get. And I pushed it more and more and more until I realised that it was almost too tempting to do it on any occasion. I would sit in my flat that I used to have in Newcastle, and I would just go out by myself. Fuck me. And then, realising that, after a while, after going through other things that I may talk about later on, realised that needed to exhaust all options to help myself, right? Because drinking wasn't working. It didn't do the trick anymore, because it became drink to fill in a void, then it became drink to cope. And it then started to be like, right, I'd wake up, and if I'm not, if I haven't got something planned or something to look forward to on that day, then I'm going to start a spiral, because I'm thinking about the evening. Like evenings like this, when I'm sat by myself, I used to fucking dread. I used to absolutely just not want to I'd do anything. I would go to a petrol station down the road from mine now, right? I would go get as much beer as I could, right? Anything to just numb it. But now it's sweet. Like it's just the battle of getting to sleep is the issue. But yeah, went to go seek for some help. I tried the antidepressant route. It's brilliant until you realise, for me, it just puts a mask over what's going on. It does not solve the issue, in my opinion, unless you're doing things beside it like therapy or counselling or whatever. And I did that alongside of it, then started to come off it, and I progressed from nothing to 25 milligrams, which had a good effect. Then that wore off quite quick. Then they bumped up to 50. Then that wore off a little bit quicker. Then I bumped it up to 100. Then again, same thing, bumped it to 150. Then I got to 150, and I realised that 200 milligrams is the max dose. Right? There's no past that, apart from trying a different medication. And I thought to myself, when I found that out, I was like, shit, what if I get there? What if I get to 200 and it's still not fucking working? Because I was relying on them all the time. And I wasn't doing any therapy alongside it. So went to go get therapy, went to go get help, started speaking about it more, and then started to use the gym to really outlet some frustration and to really set myself a target and a task that I could put all this energy into. And then I started seeing the results from it, right? And I was able to stick out the shit points, because there were shit points for me at the start where it was months and months of nothing happening, right? I was able to stick them out because I looked at what was working and what wasn't, and I just adjusted what wasn't. And then I stuck it out. I didn't change it every week because I was bored. And I stuck it out, and then again and again and again, it was getting better and better and better and better. I got help as well. I actually asked for help. And lo and behold, I did my first photo shoot about a year and a bit after starting. And then from there, it's just been, I am so invested in this. And the way it's been able to bring out my confidence, right? Speaking to a camera, Jesus, it would not have even been thought of, the idea that I'm going to upload this and people are going to see it. You feel exposed, you feel like people know a lot about you. I haven't got a problem with talking about any of it now. It's literally not a bother. Literally not a bother. Because if somebody doesn't like it, here's an idea, turn it off. But yeah, that's why I coach, and that's why I want to build as many people into the business and work with as many like-minded people like that as possible, because I can sit and tell you now, genuinely, there is nobody that just can't be helped. There isn't, right? And I know that because I was in a position where I thought, this is me, I'm stuck, right? And that is it. This is the way my life is going to be forever. And it ain't. It's bollocks. And I can tell you that because it is bollocks, and I used to be that person. And I used to think, petty little me. But it's not true. Like, for anybody watching it, it's not true, right? Everybody has their own unique, different set of circumstances that leads them to believe that they're stuck, okay? And everybody has their own responsibilities. You might have kids, you might not, right? You might have 3, somebody else might have 1, right? Who's more disadvantaged? And who's to decide that? Exactly. So, yeah, it's different for different people. Everybody's stress tolerance is different. People can cope with some things, other people can't cope with certain things. The things that I'm doing now, I could not have coped with when I was 19 or 20, right? And I still feel the same level of fucking stress. But when I'm 30, 35, 40, right, I'll still probably feel this level of stress, but it'll be at a greater tolerance, because what I'm doing right now, it'll just breeze over. And I know that because every single shit part that I've been through, I've overcome. So why would any future shit parts be any different, okay? And the thing that I think people struggle with is just getting that first one or first 2 out the way with. Because once you've got them first couple out the way with and you see it's fine, and you see that not only are you fine, but you can actually benefit from having a shit moment or a couple of shit weeks or a couple of shit months, and you see that there's something good to come out of it, if you carry on, then it's easier. It's that first one that people get stuck up on. So that's what I want to try to help people, where, you know, there's something that's missing, right? I'm telling you now, doesn't have to be me. Ask anybody for help, right? A second pair of eyes where they do not have the emotional ties to your jobs, your tasks, your responsibilities, is what you do. It is easier to organise things, it is easier to sort things, and it is easier to manage day-to-day, week-to-week expectations, especially when you've got somebody guiding you through it. So that's why I do it. And I'll expand on a couple of different points. I do more of these day in the life videos. I probably will do day in the life videos and then I'm just rambling on to you. Because if people know me, I can talk forever, right? I can talk forever. So yeah, that's why I want to do it. That's why I'm trying to build the business as good as it possibly can be with the foundations of good people, right? It's not just, oh, right, well, just make me shredded, right? Yeah, I know, but what's the meaning behind it, right? And people might think that's daft, or, oh, I don't need to know. Well, you do, because the moment shit hits the fan, which it will, because you're not exempt from having a shit day, you're going to need something to fall back on. You're going to need a reason why you're going to fall back on it. If you just want to get shredded for Ibiza, I might be wrong. You might just end up sacking it off. You might just end up sacking it off, compared to you're rooted to an emotional tie, right? You want it, and you will just do what is necessary to be able to get there. Now, when people watch this, people might go, well, Nathan, you are nowhere fucking near, right, the top. I'm fucking not. You're right. I'm literally so far away, right? And the more I've progressed, the more I've realised how much there is that I can do, okay? Because there's such a long road. But I know that when I come back this time next year, right? Because I'll still be doing this. I bet you I'll still be doing this, okay? Regardless of the situation, regardless of what's going on with work, with whatever that's happened, we'll see the progress, and I'll update it obviously on here. Like I said, I've got 3 weeks left of a tidy up, and then it's a 24-week off season all the way through the winter, going into about March, April next year. I think, yeah, March, April next year. So that'll be the best that I'll ever be able to do, because my training's definitely the best I've ever been able to train. In terms of the quality, my education around things, which again has taken years, is the best. Okay. My stress tolerance is also the best it ever has been. I'm still stressed now. It's 7:45 on a Thursday, right? I'm genuinely stressing about tomorrow, right? You might think that's rubbish, but it is. But that's the way I work. I overthink. I want to be able to do everything right. I aim for that perfection that I've just said, fucking hell, I've just said not to do. Which is natural. I just obviously have to try and talk myself out of it sometimes, because it just sometimes you just get caught up in everything needs to be perfect. When it doesn't, you control what you can control. Other people, you can't fucking control them, right? Their reactions, you can't fucking control them. All you can do is control your effort in a situation that you're in. You potentially can't control every situation that you're in, but you can certainly control the effort that you've got in that situation. And that's the problem. Doesn't have to be the perfect situation. It has to be the most amount of effort that you can do to rectify that situation. So yeah, it's fucking heavy for a Thursday night. I'm not worried about not getting to sleep, and this is why. So I've got a couple more jobs to do. I'm gonna I might have a few more phone clips to do, and then I've got one more meal. I've done 12,000. I should have done 12,000 by now. Done 13,000 steps. And then I will sort everything out for tomorrow. I've sorted all my supplements out, all that kind of stuff, all the boring crap. I'm going to read this. I've actually started reading. Would you believe it? A PT who can only count to 12 can read. Mental, isn't it? And I think Friday, Saturday is going to be quite busy. It usually is. So we're going to get a lot of stuff done. Obviously, I'm going to get this edited. This will be out on Sunday. So you'll be watching this on Sunday. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. You know, hit like, hit subscribe. If you don't want to, I still don't know why you're watching. Bit weird. But yeah, stick around. I'm going to literally document everything. Going to aim for one of these every single week unless something absolutely drastic happens, and then the content's just going to keep coming out and out and out and out. And I ain't posting it to seem like a know-it-all prick. I'm posting it because it might help. Because I remember watching content when I was stuck and it helped massively. So, hope you found it helpful, and I'll catch you in the next one.